What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and more Birthright coverage here as we continue our series through the Bloodline abilities. And we do have a chunky one today, Enhanced Sense, so this is going to be a little bit longer than normal. Strap in on this one because there are essentially different versions of the same ability based on the Bloodline derivation. So this one comes in two forms as well, as a minor and major ability. And again, everyone has access to this. So, the base description here, blooded characters are sometimes gifted with powers of perception far beyond those of ordinary mortals. The nature of the enhanced sense depends on the derivation of their bloodline. So, we'll start off with Endurance. Pretty simple one here, but basically if you have this version of enhanced sense, you may detect evil 3 times per day, as described for paladins in the player's handbook. As a major ability, you can just do it at will, which is huge, right? Just being, hey, do I sense evil, right? And just have that on 24/7. So really strong ability there and some powerful uses for those characters with that. Now, the bad guys, Azrai's bloodline also has an ability or a version of this ability. You can see into and through shadows without difficulty. At dusk, your vision is as acute as if it were bright daylight. And then anyone, getting onto the next page of this. So anyone hiding in shadows, regardless of time of day, suffers a 50% penalty to the check if a scion of Azrai happens to be looking at that place. So something that, certainly could come in rough ways for players to find out if they think they're hidden, but dealing with a bad guy, an Anshe or something that has this ability, and oh no, they can see you the whole time basically. So, or if one of the players happens to be cursed with having Azrai's blood, also a useful ability for them. Now, as a major ability, Azrai spawn gain the power to see into the shadow world, as noted for halflings. So detect evil, detect undead, and detect magic, necromancy only. Again, it's basically as if you were halfling in the real world. And then as per the wizard, spells at the 5th level of ability. And then you also have a 75% chance of success for that, as often as you wish as well. So basically you just concentrate one round and allows all 3 at once, which is pretty damn powerful too. Azrai Scions may also note places where a crossover to the Shadow World can be made, but this does not confer the ability just to enter the Shadow World. Nonetheless, knowing where those locations are can be a huge boon as well, especially if you have access to someone who can enter the Shadow World, i.e. or e.g. A halfling. So lots and lots going on there for the Azrai version of that, and something that the players may have to, or will perhaps come to encounter and find in various ways. So then Basaya. So here you have the vision of a hawk. They can spot detail and motion at 10 times the distance of a normal human. All missile range penalties for them are reduced by 1 category. So long shots suffer the -2 penalty of medium range fire. Medium range fire is not penalized, etc. Again, may want to go back and double check depending on which version of the game you're going to play, whether you're playing 2nd ed or 5th or whatever else, or any kind of other custom ports. If that the shooting rules have changed in your particular edition, double check that. And then as a major ability, you can penetrate normal or magical darkness for 1 turn per day by sending forth narrow beams of fiery sunlight from your eyes. So kind of like what is it? More recently in The Boys, Butcher's version of superhero powers, if you watch that show. So, and then that light does reach a distance of 60 feet. So here is more about for illumination, but in the show, of course, more like a laser beam as an attack. But pretty cool stuff there. And honestly, that ability could be used to just frighten people too. Just, oh, you have glowing fiery eyes. So interesting one there. Brenna is a shorter one here, but blessed with the sight and hearing of cats. So it gives you infravision to 30 feet and a +1 bonus to surprise checks. There is no major version for her though. So you do unfortunately get the short end of the stick on that. But useful to have nonetheless, so especially for people who normally wouldn't have infravision. Masela, you are not hindered by wind, rain, fog, snow, or other weather-related obscurement, which doesn't sound as powerful as some of the ones before, but hey, when you can just literally ignore the weather for that, that's, again, good stuff there. You can see at least 120 feet even in the worst conditions, although darkness is not part of that, so darkness is affecting you normally. But if you have another way of gaining like infravision or something like that, or see in the dark, or if you already can see in the dark, well, this is just an added bonus on top of it. And hearing is not hampered by howling wind or driving rain as well. That can be huge as well, especially for preventing ambushes and things like that. Scion with a major ability here can hear their name spoken, as well as what's said about them anywhere within 10 miles, which, gosh, that's huge too. The Scion and the speaker must be both outdoors at the same time, so there's a little bit of restriction. The wind carries the conversations about the Scion to them. Enemies must be careful of speaking their name. No kidding, right? Moving on, so we have Rainier. Scion of Rainier is attuned to the wilderness and possesses the tracking proficiency as a ranger of equal level. So obviously, if you are already a ranger and had a Rainier derivation, not going to be as cool for you. Although, if you are a ranger, you do get a +4 bonus to your tracking score. So you have that as a little bit of a buff, I guess, should you already be a ranger. So I stand corrected. In addition, the Scion is surprised in wilderness settings only on a roll of 1, and you note the snap of twigs, movement of birds, etc., other telltale signs of an enemy's presence. Unfortunately, this one is another one where you don't have a major version of the ability. So, again, another great one, though, buffing existing ranger or just giving someone ranger-like abilities. So, interesting, again, class combinations there for some of these abilities. Again, especially for the characters who normally don't have access to, straight up like magical abilities like spells. A lot of these bloodline abilities really confer some surprising powers as well. And then finally, we get to Vorin. So characters of Vorin's line have a limited ability to see into the future. Well, gee, that sounds powerful already. By concentrating for 1 round, you may attempt to learn the result of their actions, gaining information equal to a divination spell cast by an 8th level priest. Really cool stuff there. Especially, if the party is faced with maybe a difficult choice, you can figure out, would option A or B perhaps be a better option? So it could present some interesting situations there. And then you can attempt that only once per day, though. But as a major ability, this effect may trigger automatically when the character is headed into unknown danger. This does not count against their active attempt at divination as well. There is a 60% chance that the blood ability activates. The DM may modify this chance based on the nature and degree of danger. Strong, evil threats are more likely to trigger the ability than weaker, accidental dangers. So really a cool sort of almost like Sixth Sense ability that you could develop through this, which again, obviously has lots of implications and can be used with some creative role-playing too to really give the character some unique advantages in different situations. So, and could help them also steer clear of potential things like traps and other just ambushes again and greater dangers. So really limited only by creativity of the DM and the party there. So again, a very interesting ability here. Enhanced Sense, doesn't again just seem as immediately powerful as some of the other ones, but when you got to factor in the different bloodlines. But again, really a lot of it's conferring some pretty neat magical powers. And again, especially when it's characters who don't have access to magical abilities like that in general, again, and just really create some interesting class combinations, but also some oddball ones, for characters that might normally be associated with, or character classes that might often be associated with a particular bloodline. But then seeing those with some of the other god bloodlines as well. Maybe finding some less common combinations, but again, really could create some unique abilities and unexpected abilities for various encounters. So really nice one. Let us know in the comments, guys, if you have used Enhanced Sense, which god or which bloodline, and how that's worked in your campaigns, or had that used in some form against you, perhaps by various NPCs, etc. So leave us a comment, guys, like and subscribe. We'll have plenty more Birthright for you soon. We're working our way through these abilities. There's still several to come, and then we're going to be on to some other exciting things here from the core rules. So hope you enjoyed. Thanks so much as always, and we'll see you in the next one.